Hello, I'm Bob Beeden, Executive Director for Board and Curriculum Services of the Port Huron Area School District and also Chairperson of the Education Committee for the Greater Port Huron Area Chamber of Commerce. I'm fortunate to have with me today Holly Quaine, who is President of the Chamber. Holly, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you, Bob.
Good. Holly, could you tell us a little bit about the mission and the purpose of the Chamber?
Sure, Bob. The Chamber of Commerce is a membership organization of business members in the community, and our purpose is to help create and maintain a sustainable business environment that works towards economic growth in the area. We're also very interested in civic interests, quality of life, and advancement of education. Anything that has to do with making the community a better place to live, work, and do business is what the Chamber supports and works towards.
And you've been with the Chamber how long?
Well, it'll be a year in May, in fact.
Previously with the Times-Herald?
Correct.
All right. Well, we've enjoyed working with Holly, and there are many activities that have been planned. Could you tell us about some of the committees that the Chamber has that works toward meeting this mission?
Sure. Most of the work that the Chamber does comes from within our 4 core committees. Our Planning and Events Committee is really the fun committee. They do things like plan our after-hours, our quarterly after-hours mixer, and our golf outing for our Academic Achievement Awards banquet that I hope you're going to ask me about in a little bit also.
I certainly.
Yes. And some events we have coming in the fall that we're looking forward to announcing later. Our Membership Committee is another fun committee. They're charged with membership recruitment and retention, and they show up at ribbon cuttings and open houses and have fun doing that sort of thing, reaching out to the members. Our Public Affairs Committee is sort of a legislative advocacy committee, and they keep an eye on local issues, state issues, federal issues. We have a couple of forums coming up I'd like to tell your audience about, if I may, with regard to that committee. The first forum that we're going to be holding is on April 23rd at the St. Clair County Administration Building with Planning Director Gordon Rattan and Doug Plashinsky, who's involved in what is going to be the most comprehensive transportation study that the county has ever done. They began the study last October. They should be done next winter sometime. And one of the things they're doing is reaching out to the public and different stakeholder groups to hear their issues about transportation in the county. And so we've reached out to the business community throughout the county through the other chambers of commerce in the county, and we're inviting all those folks to come to the administration building at 4 o'clock on April 23rd to hear an overview from Gordon and Doug about the transportation study, and then hear their issues and how transportation in the county in the future will affect their business. That's a very important issue.
And I know that they're working with SEMCOG as part of the Southeastern Michigan Transportation Project.
Correct. So lots of issues there. The other event that the Public Affairs Committee will be hosting is May 5th at 4 Lakes. It's a State of the Townships Forum. And before my time with the Chamber, it was held a couple of years ago in Fort Gratiot. This one will be out in Kimball. Laura Sturdivant, who's the Township Supervisor for Kimball, Madeline McCarthy, who's the Supervisor with Fort Gratiot, and Bob Lewandowski with Port Huron Township, will have several minutes to discuss what they have planned for their townships, and then there'll be a question and answer period. I might add that the first forum, the Transportation Forum, is free. This forum is going to be held in conjunction with a sponsor, Cummings, Froman, Wagley, an accounting firm in town, and the cost for that is $10 for Chamber members and $15 for non-members. And we really would encourage residents of those counties, business members of the counties, to come to that forum, hear what the supervisors have to say about what they see in the future, and have an opportunity to question and answer. And there'll be a continental breakfast that will be served too. And anyone interested in either of those forums can really give the Chamber a call and get more details and so forth.
That's kind of neat that the area is coming together to work cooperatively on some of these issues, because it's kind of like united we stand and divided we fall.
Right.
We just have got to cooperate in order to be successful, because the issues are just too big.
Absolutely.
And the resources too limited.
Absolutely.
So.
Yep.
Education Committee.
Education Committee is probably your favorite committee, Bob.
Well, definitely, it surely is.
Actually, and I hope no one else from the other committees is listening because it's my favorite committee too.
All right, Holly.
The Education Committee.
You really needed to divulge that. I appreciate that.
The Education Committee wears two hats. The Education Committee is involved in education of the students in the area and of our members. And the programs that deal with the students in our area, of course, are Kids Voting, which is a pretty cool program. The Academic Achievement Awards Banquet. Can I talk about that now?
Well, whatever you choose.
Oh, good. 19 years ago, the Chamber of Commerce and the school district sort of put their heads together and said, you know, the students who maintain and achieve and maintain academic excellence throughout their high school career really deserve to be patted on the back. And so it was your idea, not yours specifically, but this was before my time, so I say the school district with the chamber honored these students at a banquet in May. I believe it was held at McMorran, that first one. There were roughly 55 students, and the chamber funded this event, and they did it through donations, individual donations from their members. Well, thanks to the good job that the school district has done over the years, that program has grown to honor this year 145 students. Their parents are invited. There's always a real interesting keynote speaker. I understand we had the governor one year. I know that the year that my son actually received his varsity letter for academics, the president of Central Michigan University was the speaker. And it's a real big event for the kids. In addition to sponsoring the banquet night, the chamber also provides the pins and bars and varsity letters, varsity academic letters that the school district awards to their high school students at the fall awards assembly. And so that program has grown. It's a pretty big program, and the chamber funds it, right.
And it really recognizes the parents, too.
Absolutely.
Because the parents are so proud. And we know from experience that sometimes people, oh, why do I want to go there? But once you get there, you know, it kind of makes you swell up a little bit inside, and you feel good about being there, and the kids walk away saying, yeah, I feel good about it too. And so we really appreciate the support of the chamber in regards to that. And Ken Kraft does an outstanding job working on the program, getting it all worked up behind the scenes, so we want to say thanks to Ken too.
I think it's a real good marriage of business and education. A lot of these kids who will be going off to college and coming back to the community and really contributing in a big way. I'd also like to say that we've had a couple corporate sponsors step up to the plate this year and offer to help support that. Bank One, Citizens, and Eastern Michigan Bank have said, you know, we'd like to throw our hat in the support ring to help, to help make this banquet,
It makes your job a little easier too.
Well, it does, it does, and they're nice folks.
We don't have to do 3 or 4 golf tournaments.
No, just the one golf, outing, June 17th, by the way.
June 17th,
yes.
Good plug, Holly. You picked up on that quick. That's great.
The Job Shadow, the School to Work Transition Program, is another program of the Chamber of Commerce and the Education Committee, and that's pretty cool. The sophomores, juniors, and seniors, mostly sophomores.
That's correct.
In the school district, Job Shadow in an interest of there. And I know, again, when my son was in school and was interested in environmental engineering, that program put him out in the field and really helped, and he ended up being awarded a scholarship through that first step that the school district took with the Job Shadow, and he is in fact in engineering. So it's a
little history of that goes way back to about 1967 or 8. Mike Benedict and I started working on the education committee together, and it's kind of progressed and evolved into a program where in the last 6 years, nearly 5,000 students have been out job shadowing.
That's incredible.
At one or more businesses and opportunities that are provided. And of course, to kind of pull this together a little bit, you mentioned people coming to the community and businesses wanting good school districts, and that's what will bring back the students to our community too, as if there are job opportunities. And so often now students leave and they don't come back, and we wonder why. Well, there just aren't the opportunities at the education and remuneration level that they're looking for. And so with all the development in town, maybe a few years from now, a lot of those people will be staying, and that'll be a wonderful thing.
Well, I hope so.
Yeah. How about Lunch Buddies?
Lunch Buddies is my favorite program. Lunch Buddies is, Lunch Buddies was started about 7 years ago. Again, a chamber in the school district teaming up. It partners an adult business person in the community with an at-risk elementary school child. And the adult lunch buddy agrees to spend a lunch period, I want to say a lunch hour, but it really isn't, it's 40 minutes, a week or every other week with an at-risk child in an elementary school. It started at Woodrow Wilson. I remember I was there the very first year it started, and it's expanded to Garfield and Roosevelt? Harrison. Right. I know my little lunch buddy this year is at Garfield, although I was at Woodrow for many years. And it's a mentoring program that is so simple. You go and have lunch, and you're in the cafeteria, or you go to the media center, back to their room, and that's all that's asked of you, except that you get hooked.
Yes,
and what happens is you start bringing McDonald's, and you start getting those hugs, and you're at your desk, and it's very, very busy, and you think, oh, I have to leave for lunch buddies. You feel so distracted. You get there, and
you're rejuvenated.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The little one knows it's lunch buddy day, and you get big hugs, and they just chitter chatter, and you read or play board games. And these are kids who may or may not have some positive influences in their environment and in their life. And it really takes you wherever it takes you. I guess that's the best way I can put it.
Just kind of grabs you, doesn't it?
It grabs you, yes.
It does.
I've talked to lots of lunch buddies who've followed their lunch buddy into middle school, kept in touch with them. Lots of adult lunch buddies who went through several lunch buddies. Now, my first year in lunch buddies, I went through 3 students in 1 year. Woodrow has such a high turnover rate of students, which speaks to the need for the lunch buddies there.
Sure.
My lunch buddies kept getting moved. I don't think it had anything to do with me, though.
Oh, okay. I'm sure it didn't.
I'm sure it didn't, too.
Well, there is a lot of role modeling, as you mentioned, and mentoring that goes on. And, if you save just one student a year, how wonderful that would be, that they've been successful, and they might just look back and you were maybe that person that pushed them the right way instead of drifting to the wrong side of the ledger. There are some other things that we do in relationship to working with the business community through the Education Committee. We've done business profiles for your newsletter.
Yep.
And those get distributed how far and wide?
Our newsletter is printed monthly. We print about 600 of them, and they are distributed to all of our members, of course, and to some friends of the Chamber. When we talk about our membership, we have just under 500 businesses who are Chamber members, but they represent about 8,000 employees. And when a business joins the Chamber, all of their employees are Chamber members, and they have all the rights and privileges of a Chamber member, all the discounts, all the membership benefits. And so we started, and here we go again with the school district, Bob. I had this idea several months ago that we'd like to spotlight our Chamber members in our newsletter, but if there's always that time element. And so I approached the newsletter editor, the city journalism, thank you, teacher over at Port Huron Northern, helped me with his name, Mr. Becker, thank you. And he recommended a young gal who's just wonderful, Mandy Sharp, and she now interviews our Chamber members every month. She'll go out to their business, or she'll meet them at the Chamber office, take their picture, and provide an article for us that we print. She never misses a deadline, loves what she's doing, all kinds of nice things to say.
Careers in action.
It's careers in action, exactly.
The whole world is careers.
So that's
life after high school. What are you going to do? You just have to start making some decisions.
Have a career that started at the Chamber one way or another.
There you go. All right.
So she gets hands-on experience interviewing.
She may take your job 20 years from now. You never know.
Thank you, Bob. She may take your job. As soon as we can figure out what you do, she's going to take your job. Yes.
I said 20 years from now.
Oh, thank you, thank you. So she gets hands-on experience. Our members get another benefit. They get focused. Up to 8,000 people read this, we hope, right? But we mail out 600 of them.
And candidates forums. Had some candidates forums where?
We did, and we'll probably have another one this election year with the City Council race this year. We'll host that. We had candidate forums last November. The other thing that we do through the Education Committee is education of our members, offering them opportunities at a reduced rate to we offer them training opportunities that they might not necessarily have access to or the resources for. We've had motivational speakers. And one of the series we're working on now is called Breakfast with the Chamber. And it's all about customer service, which is a huge issue, whether you're in, people think customer service, well, I should always be nice to people, and it really relates to folks in retail. Not so. It's a more complicated and multi-layered issue, and it relates to everybody who deals with a client or anyone who is paying them for a service or product that they're providing. Peg Parker, who owns Customer Science, is a corporate training. She's really cool.
She did a nice job.
Peg is just a doll. She's real high energy without being, in your face, and she gets you thinking. And we had our first seminar our breakfast seminar in March. The school district hosted that, and we had a maximum of 20 people at that because it's hands-on, and Peg likes to get out there, and that's the real maximum number for this kind of workshop.
We did max out.
We did. It filled up fast.
So that's an important thing for people when they see these to call and get registered promptly so that there's a place for them.
Absolutely. Yeah. That seminar defined who the customer was and what customer service is, which was kind of interesting. It was a little different than we thought. This next seminar is May 20th. It'll be held at the Holiday Inn Express, and this one is going to deal with difficult and challenging customers and coworkers. So we'll learn how to. I'm sure there'll be lots of yucks, but I think we'll also
everybody can learn something.
That's
of that.
right, absolutely.
Yeah. And we did one on who moved the cheese.
Who moved the cheese? That was a little before my time. You can probably tell us a little more about that.
We also, well, that had to do with change and how people react to it and how they perceive it and how they process it, and to make either their personal lives or their business lives better. And then we did one on e-commerce.
Oh, that one was just January, I believe. How to use the internet, how to use e-commerce in your business. Well, I think we're going to talk about some opportunities to hear from the folks at Blue Cross and talk about health insurance here this year. That's a very complicated issue. And very expensive. Very expensive, it's a huge issue for business. So we'd like very important to employees. Absolutely. Employees and how it's changed. Employers, how employers are doing businesses, how they're budgeting and so forth. And so we'll have the opportunity to help educate our business members on how to deal with that and how to understand that with the new HIPAA rules and so forth. And Career Fair. Career Fair, the Job and Career Expo, that's held every September in conjunction with the Michigan Department of Career Development. That's at the Edison Inn, where those who are looking for applicants and those who are looking for positions can meet and greet each other. And we were kind of a little worried about that it might not be as big this past year, but in reality there were still people looking for employees and still people looking for work. Absolutely, don't lose hope. Trying to find that match is the big thing, and that's the kind of thing. Well, Holly, it's been wonderful talking to you, and it's always fun and exciting to talk about the Chamber of Commerce because it's been around and been very successful for so many years. And so, Holly, once again, thank you very much for sharing with us. Good to see you. Thank you.